All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the book is out now. All right. Don't forget the book is out right now. The Fauci Files, Fauci's Dirty Secrets Exposed. All right. There's a lot of information in here. Unfortunately, when we all went through this pandemic, a lot of people were getting fooled and getting tricked. And then other people were trying to let other people know on social media that, hey, they running the game. And a lot of people didn't go for it. And there was some that went for it. And you might have heard me even speak about it on a few occasions on a couple of episodes as well. I think one of my videos was, I think, removed, and another video I contested it, and then they left the video alone because it was dubbed. I forgot the exact wording, but the message that YouTube sent back was something along the lines, well, it wasn't as bad as we thought. Imagine that. That's coming from YouTube, right? And we all know about Facebook now. Mark Zuckerberg regretted going along with the Biden administration when it came to suppressing a lot of people talking about the pandemic and talking about Fauci. He now supposedly admitted that he regretted that he was being forced to do it by the Biden administration. And on my news channel, I think I spoke about that as well. So now that the truth is starting to slowly come out, and I mean, they're still trying to keep it suppressed and keep it hidden because I guess they want to make sure all the players who were involved are really either too old by the time y'all figure out how the world was getting played by this, or a lot of them will have died out. But a lot of them are still young age and still living, like Dr. Fauci. But it seems like one of those things again, a lot of people are waking up to it and starting to come to some realizations that yeah, they've been playing a lot of games, including letting people slide and get away with stuff wait maybe 50 to 100 years later. Then they'll let things out, and by then the people who were affected by it died off, and then the people who are involved in telling the people the wrong stuff and then making y'all believe that we was the crazy ones for telling y'all that nah, something ain't right about this. They pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes. And so yeah, get this book, man. And coming soon, when I get done, I'm gonna do a deep dive. I'm gonna have the deep dive video series coming out soon, where you will have my exclusive commentary and thoughts about my own book. All right. You won't see it nowhere else. You won't see it on social media. So when that comes out, yeah, we'll be letting you know about it as well. And I think you might be interested in this as well. I've done a few videos so far. I still got to record a whole bunch more, but I think you'll be very interested in it. All right. And I know y'all watching out there. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all shouldn't be hiding this guy or anybody involved. But I know what the game is. I know what's up, but it's all good. All right. So yeah, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. A lot of there's been a lot of talk on the social media platforms. It went on a lot on Twitter for 4 or 5 years, and then it started dying down. All right. And now it seemed like it's trickling over to TikTok now. And now you got people who really don't be on Twitter or haven't been on Twitter. They stayed away from that, but they feel more comfortable, talking on panels on TikTok. So you're going to have, and then you probably have some that was on Twitter going over to TikTok, spreading nonsense again over and over and riling people up. And this talk is about the issue of other ethnic groups, if you will, saying that they're black. And then the black Americans are saying, no, you're not black. And for some people get it. Some people understand the nuances of that and where, what it means when people say black or you're not black. And others are they acting like they're confused, but they know what's going on, but they're trying to play a game. And then there are others who don't understand why there's such a big argument. And yeah, we all the same. Some people still have that we all together the same. So hopefully, in this in today's broadcast, if you will, I'm gonna give my commentary and thoughts on some things. We're gonna watch a video with this. A lot of y'all might know this brother, Laz Alonso. All right. So I'm giving my thoughts on what's getting said in this video, and maybe add some other things. And I'm getting to the point where, although Laz is not African and he didn't claim to be African, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in this video, but we're gonna go through it, chop it up. I'm gonna play it a little, speak a little, play a little, speak a little, and leave it at that. But there's been some, like I said, there's been a lot of discrepancy. Some people playing dumb on purpose. Some people are just having fun and riling other people up, and getting them riled up and hyped up. And they just get the fun out of watching other people get upset and go off. And me, being that I've been on Twitter for several years, seeing these things go down, listening to these things go down on live spaces on Twitter. And now I'm seeing this. I've been on a few panels on TikTok saying things. I probably said less on TikTok. I didn't say too much on Twitter. I think I did more listening than anything. I didn't say, you know what, when a lot of spaces went on, I think I spoke out of those 4 years. I probably said something 2 or 3 times. All the other times I just listen and listen and listen, and then getting the information, and then being a critical thinker or analytical thinker, if you will, and just putting stuff together. So I didn't really say much on Twitter at all. I listened. I said stuff probably like in the background while they were saying things. I'm like, yeah, but such and such, such and such. But I didn't say too much on Twitter. Like I said, I probably spoke 2 or 3 different times. All right. It's this thing about Black Americans versus all the other, what they keep calling themselves Black Africans, Caribbeans, Blacks in the UK, and so on and so forth. All right. So we're gonna hopefully break this down. I don't want to keep doing too many more other podcast episodes about this, because it's getting to the point where I think people are starting to understand, although there's other people still playing games with others, but it's getting to the point where once you understand what's going on and certain things, it's either time to leave certain folks alone, start cutting them off. I know I spoke about people getting on panels and cutting, if you don't agree with such and such, then drop them off. But I think in this instance, it's getting to the point where people are a lot of people are really awakened, even Caribbeans and Africans and so on. They know what's going on, but they'll come on places and try to play dumb sometimes, some of them. And it's getting to the point where, that's getting old. And it's just like, okay, once you know what's up, it's time to make a decision. Just drop these folks don't even let them come in on your panels. They're just going to come in with garbage. It's going to be time to, like, what's the actions now? What actions do we take? All right. Or like Neely Fuller would always say, what's the constructive actions? Because some of these folks is gone. And then sometimes that's all people have to talk about. They don't have no other topic to talk about. Right. But I guess it's seeming like to be a new thing coming on Twitter. It was on what do you call that darn app? I forgot the name of that app that everybody was on for a while. And then it trickled over from that app The app that I forget the name of it. The app that they said that the feds be watching on that app. They said the feds is always on that app, and then it kind of trickled over, started coming over to Twitter, and a lot of people that was on that app, that live audio app, went to Twitter, and then it blew up on Twitter. Now it's seeming like it's died down on Twitter. You don't hear the talking, the arguments about, the debates between Africans ain't black and blah 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 to this, and people keep still saying that yeah, your black Americans don't like Africans, and black and Africans are black Americans telling, no, that's not a true. We always been looking out for y'all over the years, and Africans don't want to believe that's true. But there's, like I told, like I've been on a few panels and on TikTok, there's plenty of videos out there. I don't know why these folks don't just go on TikTok and gather some of these videos and start playing them. Because I'm getting to the point, like, when I watched a few of Khalid Muhammad's debate videos from back in the day, and he would bring suitcases of books and line them up on the table. I guess some of them are marked for whatever topic he's going to debate. So when it's his turn to do his debate, and he's pulling up all the evidence. So that's been my mindset. I learned something from Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And I ain't got to be a Nation of Islam or Muslim to appreciate that. I can learn something from anybody. And so that's my thing. If I ever feel like I want to go on some of these panels, that's what I'm going to start doing, going on these panels and pulling up video and playing it live and direct. It shuts people up a lot of times, And I don't know why people on TikTok just don't continue doing that. You can shut out a lot of these topics and go on to something else. I'm kind of like on the mindset now of solutions. Yeah, let's talk about it, but then give us at least one idea, one option, one alternative, one solution to what people are saying the Africans are doing or they not doing. The Africans are claiming that Black Americans are X, Y, and Z. We keep telling them, look, your people, your family members, your older family members are telling y'all not to mess with Black Americans because of X, Y, and Z. And it's all, and you have some Caribbeans and some Africans saying just that their parents used to tell them this stuff. And when you tell these Caribbeans and Africans, look, there's video footage of people from your land saying that, yes, their parents was telling them, don't mess with Black people because they lazy. They don't want to work, which is a lie. Who do you think built this country, the U.S.? It wasn't lazy people. It was Black people, Black Americans. And so we're going to look at this video, man. And I did this because I had a back and forth with someone on TikTok about this video. They put it on their page, and I said some things. I might even ask some questions, which y'all know the last episode I talked about how when you ask questions, it get people all riled up. It's like people can't take questions. And it seemed like they fold, they get in their feelings. It's just, you're not supposed to ask questions. You're just supposed to go along with what they say and believe this and believe that. But I see questions work in a lot of areas, not just on debates or panels or talking about topics, even in business. Yeah. Even in a lot of other situations, questioning works. So we're going to get into it today, man. And hopefully we'll get some out of it. Hopefully I get something out of it. I'll learn. I'm always learning something too when I do these episodes one way or the other. Even if I go back and look at certain things or look at the previous episodes, I learned something from it myself. So hopefully we all can get something coming from this. And I don't know, people might reach out to Laz and they might point this video out. Who knows? He might holler at me. He might not. He might not even give a damn. Who knows? Or other people might get offended for this particular episode, but we're going to get it in anyway. All right. So you're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Let's get it.
You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast.
right, so yeah, we gonna get into it, man. Let's play this video. I really want to shout out to all those who've been on Spotify and been listening to all my previous podcast episodes. I haven't been up to date, and what I'm thinking I'm going to probably do is I'm probably going to skip. So when the next time you guys on Spotify, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, now they allow us to put video up, so you'll get to see. I think what I'm going to do is put maybe the last episode right before this one, and then this one, and start going from there. Start putting it out on Spotify. So for those who watch this on Spotify, you might have to go back to my YouTube channel to get all the other episodes if you're interested in watching it, because it's too many for me to try to catch up. And so I'm just going to start off where I'm at now. So it'll be podcast 191 and then today 192. All right. And then I'm trying to stay and keep up with it from there. All right. So my apologies for that. I just have so much to do and had so much to do, and then going through so many things in life that I didn't keep track and keep up with it all. So my apologies on that. And so with that being said, let's check out this video, and we just going to go ahead and break it down. Okay. Laz Alonso says he's black, but does that mean he's Black American? And does it mean anything at all that he's not Black American, but he's still calling himself black? All right. All right, let's get into it.
But you're Cuban. Like,
I'm black first.
Yeah.
I'm black first.
So
what I always
ask,
tell people,
how you identify
Wait, but
yourself.
are you full Cuban?
I'm full Cuban.
I thought he was black too.
I know,
but I am black.
No,
I am
here's
black.
everyone thinks that you are like
Okay,
you
so
have black lineage.
all right,
Like,
so
you know, like
let me explain how it works. You know, this is another thing that I feel like we as black people get caught up in, that
Semantics.
that separates us as opposed to uniting us. We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off versus where the ship picked us up. You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same boat that picked up your ancestors picked up my ancestors. Only they dropped yours off here. They made a pit stop in the Caribbean and dropped mine off. But my ancestors still dealt with slavery. You know, still dealt with being, you know, having their family and their lives ripped from them, and having to come back from colonialism and slavery. You know, so, and it's not just African Americans, it's Afro-Cubans, it's Afro-Dominicans, it's Afro-Puerto Ricans. Like, all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay, yeah, you can be Latin, but you're black first.
And the separatism that takes us apart when we all have the same struggle. We all experience the same
100%.
struggle.
Because when I walk into a room, they ain't thinking, oh, we going to give him a pass because he's Latin.
Cuban, yeah.
Or if a cop pulls me over, he's not like, oh, okay, I'm not going to shoot him or I'm not going to beat his ass because he's Cuban. No, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with the same.
All right. I played it on full. I really wanted to stop it at first, but I said, nah, because if you watch me, I was you see, I'm inching back like, man, more needs to be said about this right here. So hold on, you guys, hold on. Let me see if I can pull something off real quick here. Let me see here, because we really gonna get into this right here. Let me see if I can do. Really want to make this. Let me see if I can try this real quick. If it makes a difference. You know what? I don't think I even need to do that. Hold on. I'll try something else here in a second. Let me see something real quick. Okay. I'll do it like that. So, all right. I'm going to play this over now since I heard it from the beginning. All right. I'm going to stop it. Sometimes I'll put it back a little bit forward. You know how we do. And yeah, let's talk about this, man. And y'all can put your thoughts on the comments. I respond to them. I hope I can respond to all of them. It might be a lot of comments. It might be one or two, but I hope I'll be able to respond to all of them. If not, you know, my apologies. You know, some of them, if they're real ignorant, I'm not going to respond to them. All right. Because you're going to hear me say what I got to say. And if you don't like it, you don't like it, I guess. But I'm going to try to keep it as real in the field as I can. All right. So Leah, let's play this back. Let me put it a little bit higher up on the screen and let's go back into this. All right.
The black community, but you're Cuban. Like
I'm black
hard-
first.
Yeah.
All right. You hear him say, you hear what's old girl's name? Melissa Ford. And by the way, Melissa has, I think she has a white mother and a black father. And I don't know if he's Black American, because I remember her saying in an interview or on her show, not her show, but Joe Budden's show, she's she's with Joe Budden and the rest of the crew over there. And I think she mentioned one time about her parents. They asked her about something, which side would she pick or lean to, because she looks like a black woman. She don't look like a white woman. She has the features of a black woman. So the genes of black people are stronger because you're always going to see certain features. Even if the children look like a white person, they're going to have something on their bodies that will indicate to you they have some black genes in them. If it's the hair, sometimes it's body structure, sometimes it's facial structures. You can tell. You could tell something about them that you can tell they're black. But Laz said, Melissa said, well, you're Cuban. And he's like, I'm black. You went right in. I'm black. All right. So let's get into it a little bit more. You put it back again. Let's get into it.
The black community, but you're Cuban. Like
I'm
hard-
black first.
Yeah.
I'm black.
And hold on, before I go into it, let me play it again. The video starts with her saying black community. So I don't know what she said right before black community. All right. So I want to make that clear. The video starts with Melissa saying black community. I don't know what did she say or what was being talked about just before that or and beyond before that. You know what I'm saying? So I want nobody in the comments talking about, oh, it's out of context and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. What is going to be said or what is said was not out of context. So I just want to put that in there too. All right. So let's get it.
The black community, but you're Cuban. Like
I'm
hard-
black first.
Yeah.
I'm black first.
So I
What
was
I
gonna
always
ask,
tell
like,
people.
how you identify
Wait, but
yourself.
are you full Cuban?
All right. So, old dude, I forget his name. His name is Lee. And he asked, Melissa said, well, I was going to ask you, how do you identify yourself? And then dude is saying, are you Cuban? And let's listen to what he says.
How you identify
Wait, but
yourself.
are you full Cuban?
I'm full Cuban.
I thought he was black too.
I know,
But I am black.
No,
I am
here's
black.
the-
Now, I think I'm going to say his name is Lee. I forget. Maybe Jason Lee. That might be his name. Jason Lee. He said, well, are you Cuban? Are you full? And Laz says, I'm full Cuban. And Jason says, well, I thought you was black, because Laz Alonso, he looks like, if you seen him walking down the street, if he wasn't starting to talk Spanish, or, when people start talking Spanish, the accent pops out of them. And you thought he was, if he was with other black dudes and they was talking, you would have thought Laz is black. But he says, so dude said, Jason Lee says, well, are you Cuban? I thought you was black. And he said, well, I am black. But here's the thing. And here's what I was saying earlier. Are you black in the sense of, because he's Cuban? Oh, he said he's full Cuban. Now, you guys can put in the comments, I'm just going to use the word culture in the sense of, what is the culture of Cubans compared to the culture of foundational Black Americans, FBA, right? What is the cultures between them? Are the cultures the same, and do they match up, or are the cultures totally different? When it comes to food, what do Cubans eat compared to what FBAs eat? When it comes to music, what the Cubans are known for in their music, when you hear it, right? Their dance, their art, the way they dress compared to FBAs. What is FBA's fashion? What is FBA's music? We all know, and if you don't know and understand, FBA's foundational Black Americans created a lot of the genres of music that a lot of people are loving to this day. And then other music branched off of some of those. Some became subsets of certain musics that Black Americans created. That's all been documented. Some people still fight it today, but we all know what's what. We did a lot of things here that are getting suppressed, that don't get talked about. That's just facts. A lot of books out there. All right. So is Black culture, Black American, foundational Black American culture synonymous to Cuban culture? Yes or no? That's my question. Uh-oh. Y'all crash out with the questions. But my question is FBA culture synonymous to Cuban culture? Or are there different ways of thought between cultures? If there's different inventions between the cultures, did Cubans invent a lot of things or no? That helped the world, the planet? Or did FBAs do it? Did they both do it? All right. How about the way they dress? A lot of people around the world dress the way FBAs would dress. Whatever fashions the FBAs would be in, a lot of people love to emulate it. A lot of people say they, around the world, love foundational Black Americans, but don't want to be them and experience the struggles and the hardships that FBAs have been going through, right? So Laz says he's full Cuban, but he's Black. So is he looking at from the sense of his skin color, or is he saying that from the sense of he's Black as in the Black Americans in America and their culture and their way of doing things and their languages they come up with and the slang Black Americans create? Sometimes, even back during slavery, we had to come up with different communications that other people can't detect, because if we wanted to escape from slavery, we had to speak in different code words or different sounds. So the Cubans have to do that. The Cubans do that back in their time. Because he said in the video earlier when I played it through, there's slaves brought everywhere, which we'll get into that. So it's just something to think about when I'm saying, that's all. Don't get offended, y'all. Some of y'all gonna be in the comments, but it was all good. We gonna get it in. All right. So let's listen again.
You full Cuban?
I'm full Cuban.
I thought he was Black too.
I know,
but I am Black.
No,
I am
here's
Black.
everyone thinks that you are like Black lineage.
All right, let me explain how it works.
Now she says something. It went kind of said it real fast. If I ain't mistaken, she said something about, because everybody always Black lineage. You know how some people, when they're really not Black American, they just throw out things and say stuff. And she mentioned something about Black lineage. So she had to have been talking about, although, anybody can argue and say, well, we don't know for sure what she's talking about, but I'm pretty sure she was referring to Black Americans, although Black Americans don't get mentioned in this video. But she said Black lineage. Well, do Cubans say Black lineage? Do Jamaicans say Black lineage? Do Trinidadians and Tobagoans, that's what they call them, Bahamians, Puerto Ricans, do they say Black lineage? I think she's clearly talking about Black Americans. All right, so let's play that back a little bit more. All right.
You are like Black lineage.
All right, let me explain how it works. This is another thing that I feel like we as Black people get caught up in, that
semantics
that separates us as opposed.
We as Black people get caught up in. I don't even think Jason Lee considers himself Black. The one that asked him, was he Cuban? I don't even remember any times that I would see videos of him in it. I don't ever recall him ever saying that he was Black. All right. So Laz is over here trying to convince people that he's black and everybody else is black. That's from these Caribbean shores or Latino shores. So he's calling himself trying to break it down. Right? So let's listen and break it down with him.
You know, this is another thing that I feel like we as black people get caught up in, that
Semantics.
that separates us as opposed to uniting us. We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off.
Now I'm gonna say something about him saying separates us and unites us. Like I said earlier, there is plenty of videos out there, even with y'all Latino folks, even recently when Trump is getting rid of a lot of Latino folks. You had this video right even now of Latinos getting mad at blacks because they feel like, and it's Black Americans, let's keep it 100, let's keep it real. They're upset and they're talking about, well, y'all supposed to stand up for us. There's video out there, and then sometimes it's not in those exact words, but that's what the suggestion is. And they're talking about how, why ain't Black Americans standing up and getting in the streets and fighting? And that's because when you be honest with yourselves, whether it's Latinos, whether it's some of our own foundational Black Americans who still don't get it themselves, there we have some of those too that don't get it. And they'll be like, well, what's all the fuss about it? We all together. But when you find these videos, do the videos show that we all together? You see videos where you have some Mexicans, they supposed to be black too, right? The Mexican, the Puerto Ricans, we all have Fat Joe. Or is he Cuban? He might be Cuban or Puerto Rican, one or the other, or partly one or partly other. You even see Fat Joe talking greasy. Does it seem like, let's say with Fat Joe's case, one situation we all know about recently, the stuff he's been saying, is that we are united? Situations happened in California where Mexicans was getting on black folks. Is that showing we united? I mean, like I said, there's videos out there. That's the good thing about the internet now, and the invention of the internet, the invention of video, and being able to put videos out on the internet, social media, is because now we have the evidence. We have the evidence and the proof. No matter how many times people keep saying one thing, the video show another, the proof shows another. And that's not to say that, well, we should be against this and that, but there comes a time when folks is getting tired. Even when I see certain things, I'm not under no illusions. I can be cool with whoever, with whatever ethnicity, whether you Puerto Rican, you could be Russian, you could be Cuban, you could be Arubian, you could be Bahamian, you name it, Belize. But if you show yourself and you show your true colors, I'm not going to be under no illusion when I see it. And I'm going to call it out. And if people say, oh, no, it's really you black, I'm going to say, no, my experience is this. And then people say, well, that's your experience. But then you will have to explain all these videos. I'm sure it's hundreds of them that people can pull up day to day to day. If there was a group of people, 10 people that I said, I need y'all to pull all the videos up in the last 5 years showing how Africans of whichever countries, it can be any country, any Caribbean countries, showing their disrespect towards black people. There was even people in the government that was Jamaican, maybe Trinidad, maybe a few other Haitian. And they were saying how Black Americans shouldn't even get reparations. That was a thing for a while. That's a few years ago. That video is still out there. It's in several places. And they was going against Black Americans, even in the government. So that's another thing. A lot of them will come over here, get inside the government, whether it's local, state, or federal, and then try to change things and never show appreciation for what Black Americans even done to allow to make it possible for them to even be in this country. You see, that's what I see that Trump is doing now, is he's like kind of changing that. And people are always talking about, oh, Trump is crazy, this and that. Okay, cool. But he seems, on one end, he seems to be doing something that's people, when Black Americans were saying they a little bit upset with all the other so-called Black folks from these other countries, the Caribbean, the African diaspora, the Africas, because y'all don't ever seem to be down with us. Y'all come here, your parents tell you that we bad, we like lots of sex, and we sell drugs, and we're lazy. That's what a lot of the comments, people that say their parents told them this from different parts of the world about Black Americans. We know, and the videos are out there about that. Right? So even with all this proof, people are still in delusion. I can't believe it. But I want to shout out to those who came out and told, yeah, my parents said this, my parents said that. But I came over here and I realized, and I found out this, and I found out we need to be appreciative to these Black Americans and for what they did for us. Because back in, was it the Woodrow Wilson days? Can't remember. But one of those presidents, at one point, they ain't want none of y'all over here. They ain't want no Black, no, not say Black, no Africans over here, no Caribbeans over. They ain't want none of y'all over here. They just had to deal with us because we was here. And just that alone, that at one point there was presidents and the administrations and people, local folks, didn't want none of y'all Africans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Haitians, Arubians, Venezuelans, Brazilians, Costa Ricans. They didn't want none of y'all over here. And we was thinking that because we all have similar skin tones, we're going to fight for y'all to be over here because then we can get our numbers up. But a lot of y'all, when you came over here, y'all wasn't thinking on the same wavelength. Y'all wasn't thinking that y'all was going to link up with us and really make some things happen. Y'all went on with the other folks and helping them out to continue keeping Black Americans in a certain stage and frame, you know? I mean, it's truth is truth, facts is facts. All right. But let's listen back in here.
You know, this is another thing that I feel like we as Black people get caught up in, that
Semantics.
that separates us as opposed to uniting us. We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off versus where the ship picked us up. You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same.
Now I'm address that, because that's another thing. There were already Black Americans already over here even before slavery. White historians and Black historians will tell you that. There's books out with evidence to show you that. There's books out that said when European men came over here, they already seen Black folks, and they said that, or some of them said they look similar to the ones that were out in, I guess, Africa, if they've been out there. But they were these European explorers that came over to the United States. When they seen some of us already here, they was like, y'all look like the ones we seen from before. And another thing I want to tell y'all is that, if I'm not mistaken, is George Washington was the so-called first president, but there was so-called 3 to 5 other Black presidents before Washington. But it was like under a different type of system. So they really count. They really don't count them as being the first presidents. They always put George Washington as being the first. But there was Moors, said to be Moors, that were with George Washington that actually helped George Washington do some navigation over the seas. So some of us also have some, I guess it's admixture, if you will, of Moors in our blood. A lot of people don't even talk about that. And you know how intelligent the Moors were. They was helping Europeans, taught them how to get clean, how to wash themselves. Moors created schools, invented stuff. So Black Americans have a lot of admixtures of different people, if you will, if you want to put it like that. So some of us have Moors in us. We are the original Indians of the country. People don't want to address that and believe that, which is all well and good, and so we have a lot of different admixtures in us. And then, of course, I'm going to say the word rape. So, if YouTube acts silly, just keeping it real, what some of the slave masters done to the Black slaves. So you have those mixtures in us. And out of all of that, we created and invented a lot of things, invented a lot of inventions that still get used today. So like Dr. Claude Anderson said, we are I forgot the word he used. I want to say he said we are peculiar, but there's another word he used that's kind of like on that same wavelength about Black Americans. We are a different type of people compared to Africans and Caribbeans that look dark skinned or whatever that might look like a Black American. We are different people and we had a different experience. All right, Laz. So play that back again.
And we all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same boat that picked up your ancestors picked up my ancestors.
And like I said, just to reiterate, not everybody came off the boat, homie. There was a lot of people already here. Now, how they got here, we don't know. We don't know if they were just naturally here from the beginning and just, evolved before slavery. And then you have some that was brought over here on boats. Yeah. But it's not just all boats, homie. All right. Just take some reading.
All come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same boat that picked up your ancestors picked up my ancestors. Only they dropped yours off here. They made a pit stop in the Caribbean and dropped mine off. Mm-hmm. But my ancestors still dealt with slavery. Mm-hmm. Still dealt with being, having their family and their lives ripped from them.
And another thing I always like to look at and point out is I always study body language too. A lot of people sometimes miss that. When you look at his body language, if I were to and I might do a little bit of it, turn the audio off and just watch his body language. It's almost like he's trying to convince as opposed to looking like it's facts or whatever. Or that, that's the word I choose, facts, compared to I'm just trying to convince y'all. I'm Black, man. I'm just really trying to convince y'all. I'm trying to let y'all know y'all Black too. I might not even believe that. That's probably more what I'm saying. His body language looks like he's trying to convince and he really don't believe it, but he's trying to convince you and he's trying to convince himself. This is by his body language. When I look at that, that's what he gives off to me. All right.
Ancestors still dealt with slavery, still dealt with being, having their family and their lives ripped from them and having to come back from colonialism and slavery. So, and it's not just African Americans, it's Afro-Cubans, it's Afro-Dominicans, it's Afro-Puerto Ricans. Like all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay.
Now he says, all of them, the Afro Puerto Ricans, the Afro Cubans, the Afro Dominicans, the Afro this, the Afro that, the Afro Brazilians, who knows who else he could be talking about. He is saying they really need to get out of their colonized minds, right? And understand that we all black. So he has like a Pan-African mindset, which says, we all together. But I'll ask a question. Has that really shown itself to be that? I'm asking you guys out here. And if Laz happens to catch this, I ask him. Yeah, it's cool to say we should all understand. He said African Americans. And then he said, even him, he made the distinction. Hold on. Let me play that back real quick. I'm catching that to myself. Y'all listen to this again. Y'all listen to this. It just grabbed my attention.
Come back from colonialism and slavery. So, and it's not just African Americans, it's Afro Cubans, it's Afro Dominicans, it's Afro Puerto Ricans, like all.
He even made a distinction himself. He even knows there's some difference because he said African Americans. He could have said African Cubans, African Dominicans, African Puerto Ricans, but he took it. They're Afro this, Afro that, and African Americans. Even unconsciously, if you will, he's making the distinction himself without him even probably realizing he did that. He's making the separation himself by saying it like that. Could be, maybe not, who knows, but his words is his words, right? All right.
Ripped from him and having to come back from colonialism and slavery. So, and it's not just African Americans, it's Afro Cubans, it's Afro Dominicans, it's Afro Puerto Ricans. Like all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. No.
But again, like I said, that's exactly what's going on. People been telling some you've been seeing the video sometime. I even did this one time because I was looking like, oh, you must be this. I seen a girl. She looked kind of light skinned, and I don't know if that was her grandfather or somebody a little bit older. Skin tone looked like mine that y'all see on the camera right now. His skin. He had gray hair. I think he had real short hair, but you could still see the gray a little bit in. Skin tone just like mine. But she looked like a little bit lighter skinned person. So she looked like a light skinned black woman. She was an adult. She's probably her maybe mid-20s, maybe. But I think I heard a slight accent from her. So I mentioned to her, was she Puerto Rican? I either said, oh, you Puerto Rican or Dominican? One of the two. She got offended right away. And it was like, I'm not Puerto Rican or I'm not Dominican. I can't remember which one. But let's say for just explaining purposes, I told her she was Puerto Rican. She got offended super quick. I'm not no Puerto Rican. I'm Dominican. So even them, to defeat what Laz is saying, yeah, it's all cool that he's saying that everybody should get out of their minds and stop saying I'm this and you that. But that's exactly what they do. I've seen it firsthand. And then I've seen it per video. There's videos out there, a lot of videos, a lot of times. You tell somebody they black when they Dominican. Oh, me no black. I'm Dominican. Me no black. See? And then there's I've seen this video recently. I don't know how old it is, but there was a video. I don't know if it was a commercial type of video or a video that was explaining between Haiti and Dominican Republic and saying that, yeah, the Haitians are more from the Africans. They kind of have that makeup of being from Africa. But they were saying how the Dominicans are different, and was explaining how there might be some other mix in there. They might not really be black. So I guess when Dominicans say me no black, I guess maybe they're not. But they look like Laz Alonso. Some of them look like my skin tone. Some of them look like Laz's skin tone. Some of them look like light skin, black men and women. You really see it more in the women for some reason. You see some men that got skin tones like mine and like what Laz's skin tone color is. But even Laz, yo, this is reality. That's why I say, I don't know about anybody else, I'm more a realistic person. Even if I wanted to want everybody to be all this kumbaya, we together, the realistic side is like, that's not what's really going on out here. That's not what's going on. And if I live and try to live in a fantasy, I can get hurt physically or get hurt mentally, you know. And nah, so I'm not rolling like that. I'm dealing with realism, realistic. You know, you're not gonna catch me out here slipping, trying to live in a fantasy land. That's just how it is, man. These folks do not claim to be black, which is another thing in itself. Before I play this on, it's just a little bit more to go. A lot of what's been going on lately, a lot of people for years and years and years, some will say one thing or another, but there'll probably be a lot more saying what I'm getting ready to say. At one point, none of these folks that have looked like Black Americans, skin tone and everything, until you hear their voice, if you didn't hear their voice, you would think, oh, that's another Black American. Until you hear the accent, then you could say, oh, they from somewhere else. But none of them was claiming to be black. They would tell you. I just gave you the Dominican situation. There's videos, you can pull them up. Me no black. No, papi, me no black. No, papi, me no black. I noticed sometimes the women would either not say nothing. I said I never heard a woman say that she wasn't black. So some of them will say they're black, or they don't say nothing at all. They'll just kind of look and smile. But the man is quick to me no black. No, me no black. Africans would tell you, I'm not black. I'm Nigerian. I'm Igbo. And what other the 3 or 4 other tribes in Nigeria that mentioned? I forget them. I always keep hearing Igbo, and there's another one. No, me not black. I'm Nigerian. I'm Igbo from the Igbo tribe. I'm Yoruba. Yeah, Yoruba, and there's a couple of others that I hear. None of these folks ever claim they being black. Black Americans say they're black. James Brown songs say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, right? Again, I can get along with all of them. I can rock with them. But the moment they do something out the way or show their true colors, don't think I'm going to rock with them. I'm going to call them out, maybe straighten them up if it needs to. And if they get straight, cool. If not, all right, you over there. That's it. You ain't got to be no more, no less than that. We know what you about now. Right? So, yeah, we got that. Let's listen to some more.
This is Afro-Dominicans, is Afro-Puerto Ricans. Like, all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay, yeah, you can be Latin, but you're black first.
And the separate.
Yeah, I don't see how that's going down because a lot of them don't say I'm black first. It's always I'm Brazilian. I'm this. You got some people that'll say black in conversation, but then all you got to do is get around them when they're in their element and just watch the behaviors, watch the mannerisms. The mannerisms don't turn into black. It turn into where they're from. If they're from Brazil, if they're from Cuba, if they're from Puerto Rico, their behaviors start to switch. They don't act like they're going to pull you in and still got your back, or somebody say something out the way. There's always, you have these one-offs of people. It's never as a big group. Puerto Ricans as a whole, a big group, are not going to look out for Black Americans and speak up if anybody says something out the way, or if the government's, you're not gonna have all the Puerto Ricans on the planet ain't gonna have Black Americans back. All the Cubans ain't gonna have Black Americans back. If you got a Cuban friend who rock with you and they really about that, and no matter what, if somebody get out of, if their own Cuban people say something crazy and greasy, they're gonna get on their neck. You might have friends like that, but then you might have some friends that they Cuban or they Puerto Rican or they whatever, and then once somebody, their folks, start saying something, they seem to fold, and you can see it. And then you got the question, like, were they really down with me? Because now their parents might say something in their language, and then it comes out what they said. I get told, well, hey, my dad said this, and I told him I was mad, but when you was around them, they didn't really act like they was going off on them or trying to put them in their place, or their brothers and sisters or their cousins said something. They didn't really get rah-rah with them. They just kind of, oh, but no, he's all right, or she's all right. He's with me. He's a really good person. And they're busy telling, oh, Black Americans no good. They lazy. They don't work. They rob, they steal. But yet, when they came over here, who was going crazy with the robbing and stealing and taking people and deleting people and neutralizing them, right? Who was doing that when they came over here recently? Okay.
That takes us apart when we all have the same struggle. We all experience the same
100%.
struggle.
Because when I walk into a room, they ain't thinking, oh, we're going to give them a pass.
And Jason Lee, we all don't have the same struggles, my man. It ain't like that. And then what Laz is getting ready to say, come on, bro. It don't even be a lot of y'all getting that same work that Black Americans get. So come on. That's documented.
Minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay, yeah, you can be Latin, but you're black first.
And the separatism that takes us apart when we all have the same struggle. We all experience the same
100%.
struggle.
Because when I walk into a room, they ain't thinking, oh, we're going to give him a pass because he's Latin.
Cuban, yeah.
Or if a cop pulls me over, he's not like, oh, okay, I'm not going to shoot him or I'm not going to beat his ass because he's Cuban. Mm-hmm. No, I'm black. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with the same.
All right, so yeah, there you go. Okay, Laz, if you say so. I don't even know, has Laz even gone through anything? Has he even gone on video and said he went through anything like what he was talking about? I don't know. So, yeah. Realistically, he might be in his mind feeling like everybody's black. In other words, he has the Pan-Africanist mindset that we all one big black family. But the real is that not everybody is looking at it like him. We got some Black Americans who have a Pan-African mindset. And I got a question. Has the Pan-Africanist mindset ever benefited all of us, that you want to say we all black? Has it benefited all of us, and has it benefited Black Americans? And if it has, show us the evidence on how it has uplifted us as a people. All right. I need your Pan-African mindset folks to show us how we all benefiting economically, getting resources. Show us how Pan-Africanist mindset has really brought us there. All of us is, or great majority of us, is in a very well position because having a mindset of we all black. Show us the videos that we all progressing because we have Pan-African mindset, that the mindset of we all one big black family, from the Latino blacks to the African blacks to the Caribbean blacks to the Australian blacks to the Asian blacks, because you have those Asians that have skin color like mine too, some of them that they don't really show you on mainstream TV. And some look like Laz. You know, that's why a lot of them Filipino women and them Thai women, they'll get down with some Black American men. You know what I'm saying? And some Brazilian women. Don't get that twisted. And some of the Brazilian women that look more European, they'll even get down with Black men. You know? And there's some Brazilian women that have more Africanist features. They're more quote unquote Black than they have European features, looking like they have European bodies and phenotypes, body structures and all that. Even their hair is not like Europeans, but you have some Brazilian women that you could tell, some of them that might have some what we might say as Black looking features, but they also have some European features, whether it's their hair, their nose, their facial structures and stuff like that, their body structures. Sometimes, let's keep it real, even with the booty shape, if they didn't have no plastic surgery done, you can see from that. I mean, let's just keep it real. All right. So yeah, hopefully this has enlightened you to some degree. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna get into too many more of these or even sitting and listening to too many more of these panels that just keep going back with Africans, and it seems like it'd be a lot of them a lot of times getting in these panels with Black Americans, and Black Americans busy trying to tell them all the facts that's going on and the proof, and it just seemed like that's all that's going on, man. It ain't never nothing about, yo, how we gonna get this economic going? That's where we always seem to get put in the bottom when it comes to economics. Nobody want to touch that. Nobody want to tell, how can we come up economically? How can we come and grab more of the resources like certain groups are more in charge of, right? I'm looking at, how BlackRock is getting down. I'm trying to get that BlackRock money. You know what I mean? Or having that BlackRock mindset. Y'all busy fighting with each other, talking about, well, y'all saying, Africans saying, well, how come you Black Americans don't like us? And Black Americans saying, that's not true. Y'all been saying X, Y, and Z for years. And then we've been looking out for y'all and saying what the proof is, but never showing what the proof is. They'll say what it is, but never citing a source, a resource, or a source rather, as to how they can find out. They might be telling the truth, but they never cite sources. Where they get the information from that they're saying, at the very least. So yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of even getting in, listening to those panels, man. My mind has kind of evolved to something else. And I'll just have the mindset of, I know what it is. I'm realistic. I know there's a bunch of Caribbeans, Africans. I mean, I've seen the videos, I've seen the interviews, I've seen some news interviews that some of them don't like Black Americans. That's a fact. Even in some of the governments and our governments, they'll try to sabotage. And for a little while Biden was in office, a lot of the Latinos, Puerto Ricans, and so on were really trying to get things done for them, Haitians and all of that, and didn't include not one Black American, and didn't even decide that to bring in Black Americans to get down with whatever they was trying to get on an economic front, business front, entrepreneurship. They was doing things for themselves, and there are groups or whatever, or organizations that is only specific for their ethnic group to get certain things. You can't even be a Black American, but get down with their little organization to get in on what they had. That's facts too. Now, I might not be citing the sources, but I'm telling you the sources is out there. I need to get with, if I can reach one of the guys, I won't say who it is, but a lot of y'all know who he is. He has a YouTube channel. And he had one episode where he named, I want to say, I could be exaggerating it, but it seemed like it was like 10 or more Spanish organizations that they had out in our country, the US, that just did stuff for them. Not even bringing us like they want us in as a thank you for, your people who have really built this country and y'all fought for immigrants to even come here. We want y'all to come down, get down some of this resources. So I got to get with him and ask him if I could ever reach him and just say, hey, what was that one episode you was naming? It was these websites. Because I wish sometimes I get information and I say I'll come back to it later. And then months ago down the road, and I'd be like, man, what was that episode when such and such was saying this? All the facts was in there. So I'm gonna try to reach out to him and have him either give me those websites directly or tell me what was the name of his video where he had said all those websites, and then do an episode on that and show you the sources, show you the proof, the evidence, the exhibit A's through Z's for those who don't believe. All right. So yeah, man, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. And yeah. We'll see you on another one. Again, Spotify watchers and listeners, I'm gonna be starting probably from episode, I don't know. It just depends on how I feel. Definitely maybe from 191. I don't know if I'm gonna go back from that. But anywhere before that, you just come to the YouTube channel if you want to check out any of the prior episodes. Like I said, it's just too many for me to go back and do. I probably could do it, but I don't know if I ever catch up to where I'm at right now. So I might have to just start from where I'm at and then try to keep up with it. All right. So yeah, y'all guys be sure to get the book. The book is out now. All right. The Fauci Files. Fauci's dirty secrets exposed. They keeping him on the low. They're not saying too much about him. We're being distracted with a whole bunch of other stuff going on while he's laying in the cut. They're giving him a chance to kind of get his lies together, because maybe they're going to eventually have him up in the court systems. Maybe not. We all know that Biden gave him a pre-pardon along with a lot of other folks. How do you do that before he even goes to jail? But I think I did a news report on that on my other channel, What's the 411 News, where, Biden gave Fauci a pre-pardon. It was like Biden already knew, man, we know you going to jail. I'm gonna give you a pre-pardon. So once they put you in, you'll be able to get back out and you better leave this country. It's almost like that was it right there. That told you everything you needed to know about this pandemic. By Biden giving him and some other people pre-pardons ahead of time. So Biden even knew that Fauci wasn't no good. But I guess Biden might have got some money out the deal too. And coming soon is the Fauci Files Deep Dive, where I give my commentary on each chapter of the book in video form. So it's going to be a video series, so you might not want to miss that when that comes out. All right, because what is not in the book is my commentary. All right, it's just information from research that was going on with not just Fauci, the Canadian, I don't know if he's former president now, but Trudeau. Canadians think they government people was looking out for them. Yeah, there's a lot of people mentioned in this book. A lot of information about emails in this book. And what's so cool about this book is that it has the sources. If if somebody didn't get a hold of this book and started looking up the sources, the websites that you can go to and get more detail to the chapters that I wrote, if somebody didn't get to it first and started, making some of these websites like a paywall where you have to pay to get the information, I was just luckily able to get to it before somebody decided to turn in some of those things into paywalls, or they'll try to remove the website link altogether where you can't find out no details and you just got to go buy this book and just get what's in the book. So that's what's so cool about this book here. You're going to get the sources, the websites that you can go to and do some further reading. Like each chapter has a source or two or three sources, which is website links. And you can go to them and go, oh, wow. I'll tell you one, if it's still there. One is about them emails. That's all I'm going to say. One of the sources, the websites that's in one of these chapters is about some emails that was going on between Fauci and some other people. You don't want to miss it, so you might want to go get it. All right? Available in paperback and Kindle right now. Maybe I'll put the link for the paperback book, but you can go to Amazon Kindle and grab it from there too. And then coming soon, what's not in the book is my commentary on it. So y'all want to know what I'm talking about regarding each chapter? I read the actual chapter. So for those who don't want to read the book and you just want to listen, I read the chapters in the Fauci Files Deep Dive. I read each chapter, and at the end of each chapter, I give some breakdown commentary. All right. Yeah, so you might be interested in that. That's coming soon. All right, ladies and gents. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all as always. Man, keep telling everybody about the YouTube channel. Tell them to subscribe. I'm also on my own personal Facebook page. You can catch it there. If you're on Twitter, I put the links to the YouTube video or the YouTube episode in there because we all know now Elon Musk wants you to pay for a subscription in order to be able to do live on other pages. So you can't even do live on your own personal page like it used to be. And it used to be where you can go live on whatever other pages you create on Twitter, but that's changed. Excuse me. So at least I could put the links to the YouTube channel on those platforms. And I think I can do this live on Instagram now. So that's been a plus. So what I'll do is I'll probably put the replays on Instagram, and I'll put the replays on TikTok as well. That's probably what I'll do because there's no way to go. You can go live on TikTok, but you got to go through the app itself. They don't have it where I can use another streaming service and stream to TikTok because they won't give you the RTMP and stream keyword information. So maybe I need to go ask and see if they give it. But I think there is I think April 7th is the new or the latest deadline they was talking about where they got to figure out if they're going to shut it back down again in the US or is Trump going to let it slide for a few more months and find out if the TikTok CEOs are going to share some of the, I say share some of the wealth and some of the data with some US company. But I got a feeling that Facebook already has that because TikTok has been starting to behave like the same algorithms starting to behave like Facebook's algorithms to some degree. They have little remnants of Facebook algorithm in it. And then the Chinese company ByteDance that currently owns TikTok has their own algorithms that's doing a little bit something different, kind of semi-beneficial, but I think Facebook algorithms is mixed in there. And of course in their somewhere in the settings, there's a way to look in and see that Facebook is named in there. So I forget if they're named as part owners or something dealing with Facebook is in the Twitter's you look in the settings and you start reading the policies and all that. Facebook is mentioned in there. Go figure. All right, y'all. So I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate y'all. Be sure to tell people about the YouTube channel, Thoughts of the Week podcast. Yeah, because my channel has been shadow banned for several years. They only seem like they'll let the channel be seen by a few people, and then I get 1 or 2 subscriptions every who knows how many months. I guess because when you say some real stuff, they don't want the real stuff to be getting out to the masses. So, and then who knows? But I ain't gonna stop broadcasting. So, unless they just ban the channel altogether, and we'll just have some other places to go to and still broadcast because information needs to get out, And some people want to hear it. They don't want to go to the lamestream news. They want to get the real from the real. All right, so one love. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.